Michigan State's football schedule came out. That's going to be a lot of fun to react to. But first, Connor, down 7 with 3 minutes to go on the road. Wasn't Michigan State's night until it was with Jeremy Fears taking over. I love that man more than I love life itself. Let's go.
You are Locked On Spartans, your daily podcast on the Michigan State Spartans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Today's episode of Locked On Spartans is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Spartan friends, Spartan family, Locked On Spartans listeners, oh my goodness gracious. I did not think me and the only, handsome as ever, Connor Muldowney would be smiling to start this show because, gang, wow, what a hairy basketball game that was. We're going to do something weird here. This episode's going to be a basketball sandwich. We're going to talk about the Rutgers game in the first segment. Second segment, the meat of the sandwich is going to be reacting to Michigan State's football schedule. And then the third segment, we'll talk about Friday's game. We'll talk about more Michigan State basketball items. But, Connor, the only Connor Muldowney, of course, of Spartan Avenue. How should I feel about this game? Because we're recording about an hour after it ended. I'm still riding the high of that one. Well, let's be honest. On one hand, that was 35 minutes of dog food. That was slop. That was the fattest, dare I say the sassiest the team has looked all season long, namely in the first half when they had 10 turnovers. Rutgers had 17 points off Michigan State's turnovers, and all the leaders of your team basically in the first half, not good. But there's 40 minutes of regulation, which of course Michigan State, they capture the hearts of all in East Lansing. They reestablish who they were, championship identity on the road. Jeremy Fears delivers 29 points, 9 assists overall, but 19 of those points, Connor, came in the final 5 minutes of regulation and overtime combined. I'm feeling like, hey, that's championship DNA. Yes, Rutgers is bad. Yes, you were favored by 15 points. But, man, any way you can get a win out of the mud with so many things going against you, whether it's Rutgers making tough shots or your own self-inflicted adversity, Connor, I'm actually pretty jazzed about this win if you can't tell. Am I just being a silly little Sparty that's just getting too fired up about a win against a bad team? You can set me straight if you need to, Connor.
No, I'm always on your side. You know that, first of all.
We are lockstep. That is true. Yeah, we are a blood covenant between us. Yes.
If you've ever asked me to tell you to step off the ledge for something, I'm telling you to jump. Like, there's just no way.
Go.
Yeah. So, no, I wrote about this after the game. I said that, like, we needed a win like this. Like, I know sure. It's kind of, like, overblown that teams need to face adversity before they make the NCAA tournament. But we won 6 straight games by 10+. They were kind of cruising. They were on cruise control a little bit. And I think they got that feeling of, oh, we're beatable if we don't play how we're supposed to play. So
I like that.
I don't know if I love the way they played against a really bad team. I wish like they could have faced adversity a different way, maybe like as they were up by 30 and they give up like a 12-0 run or something. But I can't be so super mad at it because they still almost covered the spread like in overtime. Like it's insane to think, but this team almost won its 7th straight game by double digits after trailing for 90% of it.
Oh, and like not being the better team, it didn't even look like an upset the first 35 minutes. And credit to Rutgers, like it wasn't all Michigan State just defecating on their own shoes. Like Rutgers was making some tough shots, and that's, of course, coming into this game, the Locked On Spartans jinx reigns supreme. Rutgers came into this game statistically as one of the worst, if not the absolute worst shooting team in the Big Ten, but they were lights out for most of that game. But look, what got more attention out of you? Is it just another page in the chapter of Jeremy Fears' 3rd season here, which I said it once, I'll say it again, 29 points in the game, 9 assists overall. Again, in the final 5 minutes of regulation and overtime combined, 19 points. That also included going 8 of 8 from the free throw stripe in the last minute of overtime. Or, Connor, is it just the fact that the nation's best defense right here in East Lansing flexed their muscles yet again? And this, admittedly, after some lapses in the first 35 minutes, it wasn't a total train wreck of defense, but You saw some people take some study abroad trips on the defensive end that you otherwise haven't seen so far this season. But Connor, last 4 minutes and 40 seconds of regulation and overtime combined, just 2 field goals. They were both meaningless in the last minute of overtime. What stuck out to you more? What was the shining star here? Was it Jeremy Fears, the point god, or was it that defense just strangling and suffocating Rutgers down the stretch there?
I think the defense kind of got lost in the shuffle just because it was such a bad overall defensive game. Like the defense looked like a shell of itself. Like they couldn't get a stop. They would cut the lead. You and I talked about it. They would cut the lead to like 7 and then immediately give up like 4 or 5 straight. So I wasn't really too pleased with the defense. I wasn't like giving it like victories down the stretch. Like, hey, good job. Lockdown, which was good, but like I noticed. I can't remember. I think it was an under 4 timeout. It was one of the late timeouts. Fears kind of had that look in his eye in the huddle, and I was like, he's about to do something. And the same kind of thing happened with Jaxon Kohler. Him and Izzo kind of went in a huddle, and then he came out and had a huge and one on like a crazy baseline spin move. So I think the Fears play really stood out just because he was 16 for 17 from the line on the road. One of the most hostile environments. I don't care how bad Rutgers is. That's not an easy place to win. Fears was just great. I don't know. I don't even have enough to say about. I have too much to say about him, but everybody's already said it.
Is that a fun paradox? Is that what they call it? I'm speechless, but I have so much to say, but so little at the same time. Well, it wasn't just Fears, just like you said, going 16 to 17 from the free throw stripe. The whole team, 24 of 26 overall, which was, again, a lot of things you could pick apart from this game as not good. The free throws will not be one of those line items. Connor, I want to ask you here, in about a minute, when did you know that the boys were going to be okay? When did you realize that we were going to smile? But first, I want to do like the contrary. When did you admit that, okay, this team's going to lose this game? Because Lord knows there was a moment for me where I just said, okay, not our night. That's okay. Maybe the Big Ten title's out the window, but we'll regroup Friday. I'm very annoyed, but it is what it is. When did you admit to yourself that, no, this will be a loss? Because let's not kid ourselves here, Connor. I think a lot of us felt like this. Yeah.
I think I texted you at about 7:27 and said that we're losing the game, but that was more of a joke. I honestly, like, the real time when I was like, yeah, we're done. This is probably a loss. I even started writing it as a loss.
Yes.
Was probably when they were down, I think it was 12. It was like 11 or 12 where we just couldn't get a stop. We cut it to 6, I think. And they went on a quick 5-0 run, and I was like, it's just not going to happen. And I think that was like 5-ish to 6-ish minutes left, maybe.
I think it's the same. I think it's the same sequence that I had too. Like, okay, Michigan State just cut it to 5 points. TV timeout. This is great. And Coen Carr, who has been spectacular at defense so far this season, especially ever since Big Ten plays kicked back up after the non-conference slate. He did have a little bit of a vacation on the defensive end that led up a 3. Rutgers goes up 8, and I just like you said, I believe they scored again. That's when I threw my hands up. I was like, not our night, not our night. This is very annoying. Also, when Jeremy Fears missed his 1 free throw with about 30 seconds left, that's when I realized, okay, it's not in the cards, but I'm an idiot. Like, this team has championship DNA. Like, they're gonna get it out of the mud here. So Connor, I gotta ask, when did you realize that things were actually, against all odds, going to be okay for us Michigan State fans?
Honestly, I wasn't even
right now. Like, has it sunk in that they've won right now?
Yeah, it wasn't even after the Divine 3. I think the Divine 3, I was like, okay, there's still 10 seconds left for them to go down. I think it was when Fears got beat on the last possession in regulation, and they still missed. I was like, scary. Yeah, we're good. Scary. Yeah. That like when it went to over, like when he missed that wide open floater, I was like, there's just no way we're losing this game now. Like, that was just it to me. I was like, there's just, yeah. But it wasn't even the Divine 3. It wasn't the Divine 3 only gave me like a tiny sliver of happiness.
I had the same reaction with the Divine 3, kind of. I don't want to, overblow this too much.
You were running down the street with your shoes off again.
It's funny. My kid actually said he was going to do that if Michigan State won the game. I'm like, now hold on, kid. We're 15.5 point favorites. Like, let's pump the brakes here a little bit. But no, I mean, look, obviously the Kenny Goins 3 against Duke, nothing can ever touch that. But this was like a fifth of that feeling of when Divine hit that 3. My first thought was, this is going to hurt so bad. That was my first thought, because naturally I just have a very optimistic personality, clearly. But anyway, you've mentioned the moment for me, and it was when Kohler and Izzo were going back and forth in the huddle in overtime. Jaxon Kohler had bloodlust in his eyes. They didn't have the camera on Izzo, but you could only imagine what his face looked like. It was at that moment where I started to believe a win could be possible, as they were already up 2 points in overtime. But when he followed up and hit that and one, that's when I realized the boys are flying or busing or biking back home. I don't know how they're getting back home. They're getting away from Piscataway with a victory here. So, Connor, that ends chapter 1 of today's basketball talk. We're going to pick up here in segment 3, but we have to shoehorn the football schedule being dropped on us. But first, a word from the one, the only fine folks over at Mazda.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kalia Butler, host of Locked On Women's Basketball, and this is Mazda's Women's Basketball Snapshot, celebrating the work no highlight reel can ever capture. The WNBA has released its 2026 schedule, featuring a 44-game regular season beginning on Friday, May 8th. The league's historic 30th season includes expansion teams Portland Fire and the Toronto Tempo, with opening weekend highlights such as Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever hosting Paige Beckers and the Dallas Wings, and a rematch of the 2025 finals between the Aces and the Mercury. And Unrivaled, Miami felt the breeze as Paige Beckers powered the breeze to a 75-68 win over the Lunar Owls, finishing with 28 points and 7 assists. She was joined by 20-year-old Dominique Malonga, who added 21 points, 8 rebounds, and became just the second player to ever dunk in an unrivaled game. In college hoops, South Carolina handed Vanderbilt its first loss of the season with a dominant 103-74 win. These moments are earned off the clock, those long before the lights ever come on. The sweat, the fakes, the doubt, the scrapes, and coming back for more every time. Mazda puts the same drive into every detail. Wins define the moment. Putting in the work, that defines you. There's more to a Mazda because there's more to you.
Now, we already knew the opponents here, Connor, or most of us did. I don't know if you live a healthy lifestyle and college sports doesn't dominate your personality 24/7. This is probably all news to you. But look, we knew the opponents for the Big Ten season going in. We already knew the dates of the non-conference schedule. But Connor, I hate to do this because this is just me barking out dates and schedules, but I'm going to go through this like an auctioneer. So get ready, everyone. September 5th I already screwed it up. Let's try this again. We're not at Toledo to start the season. Let's try this again from the top. September 5th against Toledo. September 12th against Eastern Michigan. September 19th at Notre Dame. Home opener in Big Ten play September 26th against Nebraska. You hit the road October 3rd at Wisconsin. Then it's back-to-back home games for the Spartan former quarterback reunion. First up, October 10th against Caton Hauser's Illinois team. October 17th, welcome in Aiden Childs and the Northwestern Wildcats. And then October 24th is when we go to the West Coast. We hit up UCLA. Then a bye week on Halloween. Kick right back up off the bye week at Michigan. Home against Washington. Home against Oregon. And then we end the season at Rutgers. I know that was a lot, Connor, but the number one thing that just jumps off for you, what is it? What raises the eyebrow for one Connor Muldowney here?
I like the bye week right before Michigan. I think everybody kind of noticed that. Gives you an extra week. And a little dangerous to have the players off during Halloween weekend, but
good call, actually. Yeah, huh? That's not nothing.
Harold will have them all sleeping in a hotel or something so they don't get into too much trouble. Yeah. I like Illinois Northwestern back-to-back, kind of like right after that Wisconsin road game. The start of the schedule is super manageable. Like it's very back heavy.
Yeah.
Which is worrisome if they can't get to like 5 wins by UCLA, I think.
Overall, it's not the worst schedule. And again, we already knew the opponents, but I also want to caveat it with this. Like, I'm not expecting by any means a 9-3 season here for Michigan State. I think largely, and I'm sorry to be the Debbie Downer here, the wet blanket, of course, anything can happen, but I don't think that this is going to be a year one, hey, we're going to see ourselves in the college football playoff graphics by year's end. But is it at least a schedule where you can see yourself getting to 6 wins? And I know this is famous last words before we go 5-7 or 4-8, but yeah, sure. Because I think there's more to like about this schedule than there is to hate about this schedule, Connor. And look, what I like personally, and this is what we've already known, no Ohio State. No Penn State, whatever they're going to be. They're at least going to be talented. No USC, who I think is going to be a college football playoff team next year. And then also, of course, you got to say this now, no Indiana. But here's what I do like about how things stack up here. I do like opening Big Ten play at home against Nebraska. Okay, gettable. That's all fun and well. I love the bye before Michigan. And also, on the other side of this rivalry, Michigan, they have to go to Rutgers the week before. They are not coming off of a bye. So hopefully the boys in Piscataway can beat the tar out of them before they, got to host us here in Ann Arbor. But I also like this, Connor. At the very end here, from October 25th, the Sunday after you play UCLA, to November 27th, so a full month, this team is in the home state of Michigan. It's the bye, it's at Michigan, and then you're hosting Washington and Oregon. So yes, it is a backloaded schedule, of course. You are at least in your friendly confines of, your area, your state, your dorms, your apartments, your penthouses, wherever kids are staying these days. So look, you don't get a clean break in the Big Ten these days, but man, not bad. Not bad.
I feel like we got a really good schedule. Like, you can't say that really as a fan of a team that hasn't made a bowl since 2021. But like, if there was ever a favorable schedule for a program that's been as down as Michigan State has,
yes,
I feel like this is the schedule. Because, like you said, no Ohio State, no USC, no Indiana. Our road games, like at Wisconsin, at UCLA, at Rutgers, those realistically probably should be wins if we're a decent team. Michigan's probably the only road game where I'm like, yeah, that's probably a loss, but like hopefully not, because it's a rivalry.
Right.
And their first year coach too. Like there's so much on the schedule to like. The only ones that I'm like, yeah, I'm not looking forward to that is probably the Oregon game. Like realistically, all the games on the schedule, I'm like, I kind of like that.
Let's put a pin in that Oregon game right now, because how many scheduled losses are there? And 2 years ago, when it was against Ohio State, and then you had to go on the road at Oregon, those were 2 chisel it in stone losses, right? And look, at Notre Dame, that's not going to be fun. I'll have that as a scheduled loss, whatever, sure. Yeah. Oregon, yes, we will obviously be underdogs in this game. But Connor, let me know if this moves the needle for you at all. Let me know if this just does anything for you over there, because this is Oregon's stretch before they come to Michigan State here. That they're at Ohio State, and then they host Michigan in back-to-back weeks before coming out to Michigan State. There's no bye weeks. So got to get beat up in Columbus. Michigan, you can count on them being a physical team at the very least. Yes, it is a home game for Oregon, but that is a lot of physicality. Good teams. Yes, we're liking that other people to beat up Oregon Forest before they got to come here, but just the travel alone over to Ohio State, back home against Michigan. Now we're going to go to Michigan State. Like, okay. Did I convince you this is a little trappy for the Ducks here, Connor? Did I do it?
I like that, but I also it's almost you know as well as I do that it's almost impossible to say like how these matchups are going to be. Like that Oregon game, like at the end of the year, that looks great. Like if we can be, in the 6-7 win range by that game, sure. I'm liking a potential upset. But like if we're like a 3 or 4 win team again, I'm just like that's the TV's not even being turned on. So it could go either way. But it depends on how the Fitzgerald era goes early on. That's going to tell us a lot about what to expect. Because like early on in the Jonathan Smith era, we had like glimpses of like hope, but there was never a time where you're like, yeah, we're going to be okay. Maybe the Iowa win, but there was never really that
That was the biggest hoodwinking of all time, that Iowa game. Oh, what could have been after that. But no, I mean, look, I still won't expect a win over Oregon. That's just like if you want to close your eyes so hard that your head hurts that you kind of believe a little bit. Well, there it is right there. I do think this is interesting too, the Washington game, because again, the just factor of travel here for Washington, flying all the way over here. Okay, that's just like a baseline nuisance for college teams. But here's their lead up to Michigan State. They're at Nebraska. They're home against Penn State. They got to go to us. And then right after that, they're hosting Indiana. So maybe a little bit of a look-ahead spot for Washington, huh? How about that? See, this is the fun of being like not so great right now. And I'm saying fun to like kind of trying to make myself feel better about things. We get to play spoiler. And hey, like, sure, it's more fun to talk about what trap games for Michigan State would be, but we're having an honest conversation. We are the trap game. We could be a trap game for Oregon, for Washington. So, and maybe even also Wisconsin too, because I did have this written down. Before we play at Wisconsin, they have to play at Penn State. So that's just what I got here. I like bopping around and checking out other opponent schedules too. So that's the long and short for what I got.
I think we could sneak up on a team or two. Like I think Illinois is going to be really good. I think we could sneak up on them and beat them. And I think they could win at UCLA. I don't know. There's a couple games they could steal for sure. But yeah, overall, I like the draw.
I do like, and I don't know if this is deliberate, probably not. Who actually cares about this in the Big Ten offices? I do like the back-to-back revenge tour weeks for Kaiten Hauser and Aiden Childs. That's nice. You know what? Let's just get this all out of the way in the middle of the month. Why not? A few weeks after Noah Kim comes and tries to shock the world here in his 9th year of eligibility. It's fun for everyone. I like this. So
I didn't even think about that, but that's those two games are going to be fun to watch until they're not fun to watch. So
no, of course not. Speaking of fun to watch, let's talk about Friday's basketball game here. Let's pick up any pieces that we missed from, this nice little shindig that we had in Piscataway today. We will go back to basketball talk. Sorry, a lot of whiplash going on. But first, you need to talk everyone's ears off about Gametime, the greatest ticketing app out there. And Lordy G. Willikers, if you've seen the ticket prices for Friday's game, you're going to want to save some money here any way you possibly can. And hey, that's where Gametime comes into play. If it's a few days ahead of time, like when you're listening to this, guys, save on their flash deals. Great seats all around Breslin Center. Go ahead, just get in while the getting's good. Or let's say, okay, yeah, sure, it's like 7:30. It's a half hour before tip. Surely it's too late to save on tickets by now, right? Wrong. With the last-minute ticket deals over at Gametime, you could save up until tip-off, even a little bit after, guys. So if you have plans on going to the game, don't have tickets, you can save with Gametime. They make it so simple. It's 2 taps. You get the upfront price right there, what they have on the app, and bam, the tickets are sent straight to your phone. Take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. That's code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today, and remember, it's gametime.co, not .com. I apologize. That's right. It is gametime.co. Let's hammer that point home, guys. All right, and also need to talk your ears off about FanDuel Sportsbook. That's right, guys. It's the last call for football on FanDuel. One final Sunday, one last kickoff, the final chance to get in on the action before the NFL season officially comes to a close. This Super Bowl 60, FanDuel is making sure that you are right in the middle of all the action with a special offer just in time for the biggest game of the year. Whether you're backing the favorite, you're riding the underdog, building one last same-game parlay, hey, you want to throw a few shekels on Kenneth Walker as the Super Bowl MVP. Last I checked, he was about 8-1 to win that. Not too bad. Subject to change, of course. Guys, go ahead and get in on all the action with FanDuel. This is where predictions turn into play, stats turn into storylines, and every snap feels bigger. It's a perfect way to cap off the season and make the Super Bowl even more exciting from kickoff to the final whistle. If you are a new customer, bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if you win. Make it count, because after the Super Bowl, the NFL season's over. That's right. It's sad. Last call for football on FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Now let's drag it back out here. The one, the only Connor Muldowney, and Friday, 8 p.m. against a team that the national media has convinced would beat the Chicago Bulls from 1997 by a smooth 25 points. I mean, you win a few Thanksgiving tournament games against teams west of the Mississippi by 30-plus points. You will get your knob shined. And my goodness gracious, Michigan has been just the belle of the ball here. Is there even a point to play this game, Connor? Probably not, right?
No, they're like the Golden State Warriors from a few years ago. They're
even better. Even better.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you put a spread out today, I would say Michigan at least like -6.5.
Oh, 60.5? Because that's what I would have it at right now. No, I will have a serious conversation about this. Look, I mosey on over to Bart Torvik, and of course, you can look into the future about all these projected spreads. And for the longest time, Michigan was like 7-point favors, down to 6, down to 5. At the time of recording, Bart Torvik is telling you that Michigan will be favored by just under 2 points, and they are predicted to win 73-71. This will be evenly matched. This will be a dogfight. Connor, let's go into the future. Let's say that it's 10:23 p.m. on Friday night. Michigan State just walked away with a 70-68 victory. They beat Michigan. The reaction, the response, what that means is what?
We're in the driver's seat.
Of
the Big Ten.
Big Ten, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, because I'll ratchet a step further. I'll take this all the way.
No,
problem for me.
I don't know if a loss really knocks you out of the race, but you would think, given how good the Big Ten is at the top this year, that like a loss is pretty much like a shot to the chest. Sure. I think if State wins on Friday, not only is that the best start in school history, I don't know if that's been talked about enough.
Wow, good call. Yeah.
State's never started 20-2 in a season. I think that was Paul Fanson on Twitter, I think, put that out. But yeah, I don't know. I think that just gives you like they're in control of their own destiny, and I think that's when you play a little bit more loose, when you're not trying to like have everything fall into place for you. You're kind of, other than obviously being tied with Nebraska and they hold the tiebreaker with the head-to-head.
Sure.
Beating Michigan is nobody, like you said, nobody gave them a chance a few weeks ago even. And I still think it's kind of funny that on Torvik they're favored by 1.5 in the Breslin Center. I don't know if they've watched many Michigan games at the Breslin Center lately, but it usually doesn't go well for Michigan. Yeah, it usually doesn't go well for Michigan. But yeah, I would be fully bought in I'm already bought in, but I'd be fully bought in if they were to beat Michigan and make it look pretty, not dominant, but like not a sloppy, disgusting slop of a mess like we saw tonight.
You know what? I think there's like an up and down theory here too. If Michigan State just plays a down game, their next game will be even better, and they'll have no problem being tuned up for this game.
Yeah. Well. Last time we had a horrible defensive game, we went on to shut everyone down on defense. Like the Cornell game. After the Cornell game, we just kind of locked down. So I don't know. If they hold Michigan under 70, there's no way they're losing that game.
And it's for that reason where if Michigan State does win Friday, I am on the 2-yard line of believing that this could be the team that gets number 2 for Tom Izzo. And look, anything could happen in the tournament, but I'm not saying if they beat Michigan on Friday, they will for sure win the national title. But I will for sure be jumping in the pool of belief. I will be backstroking in the green Kool-Aid. I've seen the defense. This is, at worst, a top 5 defense in the country. They will suffocate teams. They will give themselves a chance to win any game in March Madness. But look, all jokes aside, Michigan is a very good team. Do I think that they're better than 2015 Kentucky, like what was discussed earlier this year? Not necessarily, but they are in the upper echelon of college basketball. I think Michigan State is too. You beat them. I think it's within our right to believe that, yes, this can be a team that wins national title number 2 for Tom Izzo. The defense, I don't need to see anymore. I know that this, granted if the team stays healthy, that this is going to be a team that could keep you in any game moving forward. But, man, if you can score enough points against a pretty good Michigan defense, how am I not supposed to believe it? Like, how am I not sitting at 20-2? Supposed to not dream of Final Four banner number 9 and title number 2 for Izzo. I know I'm getting way ahead of myself. The game has yet to be played, but if the result is a Michigan State victory, yeah, I'm there. I'm all the way there, and I won't apologize for it. I will not apologize for it.
I think a lot of us are letting our preseason expectations for this team kind of cloud what's actually happening. Like
a touch. Yeah.
Like we all expected a decent team, I think. Nobody expected to be top 10 week 13, but I mean, we're almost 22. We're 19-2 right now. Beat Kentucky, Arkansas, North Carolina, won all the games that you're supposed to win. Should have beat Duke probably. Should have beat Nebraska probably. I mean, this team could realistically be 21-0 right now. Like, they're a few plays away from 21-0. So we can't let the preseason expectations judge how far we see this team going.
That's the thing with me too. It's like you also look at the 2 losses. Yes, Duke is an incredible team. They could have won that game at Breslin Center, but hey, a zone happened, of course. Now you still got to find a way to bust that. But okay, close win against a very talented Duke team. Close win on the road against a very good Nebraska team. That Nebraska team is not the paper tiger I thought they were to start the year. Now that's a legitimately good team over there in Lincoln. So those are your only 2 losses. Okay, and then your buzzsaw and other Power 5 teams that you're playing, especially Michigan, should you win, great. So, like, I think that there's one thing that may be hanging some people up here too, and I don't know how into the weeds of offensive efficiency or defensive efficiency people get in, but yes, Michigan State, whether you look at Torvik, they got the number 2 defensive team. Ken Pom has the number 1, but look, right now, Michigan State is 52 in offensive efficiency. They're humming somewhere around the 119 mark, but this has also been the refrain too on Twitter, Connor. I think I saw you in this conversation as well, that 119, like last year, puts you inside the top 25 for offenses. Offenses as a whole have gotten better. So it is an interesting discussion. Like, yes, they are 52nd in offense, but any other year they'd be a top 25. But does that just mean that they're falling behind in offense? But this is one thing that I've noticed, because I try to go back and wonder why offenses are so much more efficient this year. Teams this year have gotten a lot better at getting to the free throw line. Mm-hmm. Yes, obviously 3-pointers are more prioritized. You're seeing a lot of that Houston Rockets ball, if it's either a layup or a 3-pointer, kind of sweep the nation. But more so, teams are getting a lot more savvy at getting to the free throw line. That's something Michigan State can improve on a little bit, but when I see the 52 ranking, I don't know. I'm not panicking, because that's still a really damn good offense that you have here. So oh man, Connor,
State's averaging 80 points a game. I mean, it's not a bad offense. I mean, 80 points a game 5 years ago would have been like you're top 3 in the Big Ten, probably. Yeah.
Heavens.
Yeah. Could you imagine 10 years ago saying Michigan State's averaging 80 points a game and only giving up like 62 points a game? You would think they were the number 1 team in the country.
Oh, they're playing with 6 people on both sides of the court. Yeah, man. So, no, I know. I mean, we saw this team score a lot of points last year, and they were like hot dog water shooting 3-pointers. They were at least like decent at it this year. I mean, so I don't know. Like, I believe. Who am I kidding? I believe in a win on Friday. I'm gonna lose. I'm gonna lose my cool. I'm gonna lose my mind.
It's going to be 2 hours of just like excruciating pain for hopefully the right result. But you just know that it's going to be such a hard watch. Like, you're going to be in your own. Yeah. You know, it's almost like you're suiting up for the game. That's how you're going to feel the whole time.
It will be a very uncomfortable 2.5 hours. Like, yes, I am looking forward to it, but you know what else I'm not looking forward to? The game on Friday night. So it's like it's like how I view most March Madness games. This is going to be. It's good. At the very least, it's going to be entertaining. I'll tell you that.
It's always good to get that first leg of the rivalry win, just so the last leg is so much less stressful. Like, if they win Friday, then they're going to play so much freer in the last one against Michigan to end the season. So,
do you think tickets will still go for $5 at Chrysler, like they did at the end of last season over there when they had the Big Ten title in their sights, or no? Do you think it's going to be a little more expensive?
Do the fans even know that there's a game on Friday? I don't know.
I would highly doubt it. That would not. I can't do it with Michigan fans on Twitter. There's like a handful, like less than 5, that like I actually respect. But for the most part, man, Michigan basketball fans remind me of that one person, or maybe it's a few people in your life, like when the election comes around, like all of a sudden they turn into this political expert and they act like Stephen Kornacki on election night, and you're looking at them like, first of all, where's all this coming from? Second of all, you're wrong about mostly everything that you're saying. That's how I view just Michigan basketball fans.
That's most Michigan basketball fans. Yeah.
It's hard. I get it. It's exciting when your team's good. You want to feel like you belong, add something to the conversation. But boy, howdy, is it an embarrassment more times than
not. You can tell that they haven't been good for like 4 years-ish. Yeah.
Anyone that's stuck around for the Tommy Amaker era, I will respect you. So
for sure. People. That was like us with Yarnell. We had to pay our dues.
Yeah, that's why I feel like I'm entitled to talk.
I was there.
I was born to the Bobby Williams and John L. Smith era. You want to know why I'm the way I am? Yeah, that's you want to know why I have crippling anxiety every single hour of every day of my life? That's why. But it also has given me the right to sound off on Michigan State sports. I like to think, at least. So
we went through the mud.
I went through the sludge. Yeah. I went through the sludge below the mud, man. So, hey, you know what? God bless basketball, though. We've always had that going for us. So, Connor, this has been great. Thanks a lot for joining, man. It's always great talking to you. God, I can't believe we were able to smile during the whole show, man.
I know. I was so ready for a downer episode. And honestly, this is partially your fault for planning a podcast on a game day, because you know that game days never go well.
Tale as old as time. As old as time. Hey, Connor, you want to talk about a game, and then we'll bam.
Hey, why don't we just plan one for Friday night after the Michigan game? You want to do that? No, absolutely not.
It's not a bad idea, actually.
No, that would be a literal Sharpie loss if that was the case.
All right, for the sake of everyone's mental health between now and Friday, we'll call it off.
If State ends up winning and we don't do this podcast, then we'll know what the answer is. That'll be our answer.
Is our test. This is our A/B test right here. Okay, perfect. Awesome. Perfect. All right, guys. Well, that's Connor Muldowney over there, Spartan Avenue. Connor, you're the best. Thanks a lot for hopping on, my man. And guys, all the viewers, all the listeners, you guys are also all the best. Love every single one of you, especially you, Connor. Now take care of yourselves. Go green.